Welcome to the Early Development Instrument Teacher Training presentation. Today, you will learn how to use the EDI system to complete the EDI questionnaire. You should have received an EDI package from your local coordinator. This contains an EDI guide, an EDI teacher's manual, a quick tips sheet, and your teacher login and password. Your local coordinator will also provide you with a local class list for every class you teach. This list contains each student's demographic information, their local identification number, and their first and last name. Use this class list to match your students with the class list on the EDI system to make sure you are completing the questionnaire for the right student. Before you begin completing the EDI on your students, you will need to do the following. Get your login and password from your local coordinator. This is included in your EDI package. Review the EDI questions and make sure you feel reasonably comfortable with the questions asked about each student. Have your class list available in order to match each student's local ID, gender, and birth date to confirm that you are entering information for the correct student. Ensure that all the children in your classes have a local ID and are included on your list. If any students are missing, they will need to be added. Review any background materials, such as report cards, student files, kindergarten registration, or other information that might help you answer the questions. Also, please make sure you read the EDI guide and the EDI teacher's manual, as they will help you complete the EDI more efficiently and accurately. If applicable, list students whose parents or guardians have refused to participate. Tip number 1. Please read the entire EDI guide once before starting. This should help answer any questions you may have. Also, please have the EDI teacher's manual with you when completing the questionnaires. It provides step-by-step instructions on how to complete the questionnaires using our online system. Using these will help the whole process run smoother. After your EDI training, you will have 2 months between February 1st and March 31st to complete the EDI and lock and submit each questionnaire. A February-March implementation is ideal for 3 reasons. 1. Teachers will have grown to know their students very well and can easily complete the questionnaire. 2. Some children take longer to get comfortable with school and need time to adjust. And 3. It ensures results are comparable as the EDI is implemented during this time across Canada and around the world. Please check with your local coordinator for your specific teacher release time, if applicable. It should take you approximately 20 minutes to complete the questionnaire per student. After a few questionnaires, it should take closer to 10 minutes per student. You will most likely complete the EDI in less time for your best students and those who are struggling. The students in the middle will most likely require more thought and take longer to complete. Due to the learning curve involved in completing the questionnaires, it is more efficient to complete them all in one sitting. To access the EDI, type www.e-edi.ca in your internet browser. Bookmark it for the future. Enter your login and password information in the appropriate fields. Make sure you select the language you wish to work in. Click the Login button or hit the Enter key to log in. If you click Save My Settings, the system will remember your username the next time you visit the website. If you are using a public computer, do not select this option. Once you are logged in, you will only see information for your own classes and students. You will not have access to other teachers' class lists, and they will not be able to access yours. In the event the teachers co-teach a class, it is recommended that one teacher completes all EDIs to maintain consistency. After logging in, your homepage will appear. There are 3 main areas: My EDI, Documents, and EDI Questionnaires. Under My EDI, you can change your username and/or password, as well as complete the teacher participation and teacher training feedback forms. Under Documents, you will find a link to a copy of the EDI guide. Remember to read it before starting. When completing the EDI, your responses should be based on your observations of your students, which reflect their current developmental status. But you should use the time since the beginning of the school year as a frame of reference. Please refrain from using the "don't know" response. Questionnaires with too many "I don't knows" are invalid and excluded from the analyses. If you have not seen a child exhibit a particular behavior since the beginning of the school year, the correct answer is never or not true, and not "don't know." To get started on your EDI questionnaires, click on EDI questionnaires from your homepage. This will bring you to your class lists and questionnaires. If you have more than one class, such as a morning and afternoon class, they will appear on the same page, one under the other. Your class list allows you to see each student's EDI ID, as well as their local ID, gender, date of birth, and postal code. Using your local class list, which contains children's names, and the EDI class list, match the corresponding local ID to ensure you complete the questionnaire on the correct child. For privacy reasons, children's names do not appear anywhere on the questionnaire. To complete a questionnaire for a student, click on the flashing blue EDI icon located on the right-hand side of the screen. In the Child Demographics section, the first few questions should already be pre-filled, with the exception of newly added students. For the remaining questions, please select the appropriate response. This section is slightly different for each province and territory, so please refer to your specific EDI guide for any additional information. Please ensure the demographic information is correct, especially for the pre-filled questions. If the information is incorrect or missing, please enter the correct information and click Save EDI. You can complete this section and move on to the next student by clicking on Next Student. However, we recommend you complete a questionnaire in full for one student before moving on to another. To do so, select one of the sections in red at the top and bottom of your screen. This method is much more efficient. Complete each section of the EDI by selecting the appropriate response for each question. If you are unsure about what a question is referring to, please consult the EDI guide. You can access the guide by clicking the link at the top of the page, or you can click the question mark next to the item, which will bring up the corresponding section of the guide. If you need to change your answer, you can do so by clicking on another option. If you hold your cursor over one of the response options, the response choices will appear. Section D refers to any special concerns about a particular child. Please refer to your guide for the definition. Please note that you may choose more than one answer in question 2. However, your answers in question 2 must be consistent with your answer in question 1. If you have responded yes, the student has a problem influencing his or her ability to do schoolwork in the classroom, you must select at least one of the special concerns in question 2. Section E includes questions related to children's preschool experiences. For these questions, please answer to the best of your knowledge. Feel free to use data and information from the student's records if available. In the event you don't know the answer to a question, you can select Don't Know. Unlike in other sections, selecting Don't Know in Section E does not make a questionnaire invalid. Once you have completed all the sections, click Check for Completeness located at the top and bottom of the screen. The EDI system will then tell you if any sections are incomplete. If there are, you will need to go back and answer any questions you may have missed. To do so, simply click on the word Incomplete beside the corresponding section. If you have successfully completed all sections, you are now done and can click Finished Submit to McMaster. You will have to do this for each student in your class. Clicking Finished Submit to McMaster after the last questionnaire will only submit that questionnaire and not the whole class. Once you click on Finish Submit to McMaster, a message will appear asking you if you are sure you want to continue with locking the questionnaire. If you are, click OK. By doing this, you will be redirected to the class information page, where you can select another EDI questionnaire to complete. Notice how a date now appears beside the completed EDI under the status column. This will tell you which questionnaires are locked and submitted. All those without a date next to the flashing EDI still need to be completed and submitted. Please note that once you lock a questionnaire, you cannot re-enter it without contacting the offered center for permission. Please remember to continuously save as you work. Similar to bank websites, after 15 minutes of inactivity, you will be automatically logged off the system and all your unsaved changes will be lost. We will now identify specific EDI questions which require special attention. The special needs question located in the child's demographics page must not be left blank. If left blank, the entire questionnaire will be excluded from analysis. In general, you would respond yes to this question if the child has already been identified as needing special assistance due to chronic medical, physical, or mental disabling conditions, or requires special assistance in the classroom. You would respond no to this question if you only suspect that the child may be suffering from a disabling condition, or if the condition is not severe enough for the child to be classified as special needs. Please refer to the general guidelines as well as the specific provincial or territorial guidelines provided in your EDI guide when answering this question. In most school boards, children are identified as having English as a second language if they are not fluent enough in English to easily follow the classroom educational activities and require additional instruction. ESL refers to a child for whom English is not their first language and who needs additional instruction in English. A child is not considered ESL if his or her first language is English, or if he or she is able to speak another language but is also fluent in English. The goal of this question is to gather information on children for whom the language of instruction is not their first language spoken at home and who require assistance or additional instruction. An example of this is a French-speaking child in a class taught in English. In some cases, the definition of ESL is more specific. Please consult your school board or school division's policies if unsure. The student status question is where you can identify students who are no longer in your class. Students must currently be in your class and have either passive or active parental consent to do the EDI. Most provinces and territories only require passive consent, so unless a parent contacts the school requesting their child not be involved, you are free to proceed. If you have selected a response other than in class more than a month, the system will tell you to stop, lock, and submit your questionnaire to McMaster. You will not be required to complete the rest of the questionnaire for that student. In the event one of your students does not appear on your class list, you can add them at the bottom. The EDI system will automatically generate a new EDI ID for any new child added to the class list. All you need to do is go to the very bottom of your class list where you will find a blank line. The EDI ID will be pre-filled. You will need to add the student's local ID here before clicking on Add Student. Once you click on Add Student, you will not be able to add the local ID later on. If you do not know the student's local ID, please contact your local coordinator for that information. The offered center only generates the EDI IDs, not the local IDs. Make sure to fill in all the demographic information for this child on the first page of the questionnaire. Only students who have never been in your class should be deleted from your class list. The EDI system will not allow you to delete any students from your class list, even ones you have added yourself. You will need to contact the EDI coordinator at the Offered Center for assistance. You will be asked to provide the EDI ID for the student you want removed. If a child has moved away, a teacher should select either Moved Out of Class or Moved Out of School for the student status question. At that time, you will be prompted to lock and submit the questionnaire to McMaster, and you will not be required to complete the rest of the questionnaire. Once you are finished completing the EDI questionnaires for your students, please remember to fill out your teacher participation and teacher training feedback forms located on the main menu under My EDI. These forms will not be associated with your questionnaires in any way. We encourage you to complete them, as they provide valuable information which helps us improve your EDI experience. You should know all information collected during the EDI implementation will be kept completely confidential and will be used for research purposes only. No child or teacher is ever identified in our reporting. This concludes the training session. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact your local EDI coordinator or the Offered Center for Child Studies. We value your participation in the EDI implementation and are happy to answer any and all questions you may have. Thank you for watching and taking part in this year's EDI implementation. Without your participation, this research would not be possible. We greatly appreciate your invaluable contribution. We wish you all the best with the completion of the EDI questionnaires.